Revelation 2545. From the 11th of November 1942. Spiritual Gift Gateway to the Spiritual Realm. Only spiritual gifts can be offered from the spiritual realm, and thus it is understandable that this gift does not bring any earthly advantage but only benefits the human being's soul. Spiritual gifts are nevertheless more valuable because they have eternal value. It opens, so to speak, the gates to the spiritual kingdom for the human being who receives this gift and arranges his earthly life accordingly. But the spiritual kingdom is the true home of that which the human embodiment has requested for the purpose of its maturing. And this embodiment as a human being is only a temporary state. But the real life only begins in the spiritual kingdom, where no more earthly fetters oppress the soul, where light and freedom replace the darkness and bondage in earthly life. The inhabitants of the spiritual kingdom know about the human being's unfree state on earth, and it is their endeavor to help the human being to reach the light-filled state, to stay in the spiritual kingdom. But the human soul must spiritualize itself, that is, seek contact with the spiritual within. It cannot do this on its own, and therefore the spiritual beings assist it by imparting strength in the form of spiritual instructions. Thus they offer gifts of the Spirit which are nourishment for the soul, so that the soul thereby matures and increasingly joins the spiritual beyond itself. And it acquires its right to the spiritual kingdom by trying to comply with everything it is advised to do through the spiritual gifts, by living as it is advised, thus by forming itself in accordance with these spiritual gifts. The human being has to travel the earthly path, there is no other way to reach the goal, and there is no other means to mature on earth than the supply of the divine word, which is therefore offered to people as a spiritual gift. This word must result in the soul's maturity, for the spiritual beings convey the strength from God to people which they constantly receive from Him and want to pass on in their love, because this signifies a pleasing activity for them to be able to distribute delicious gifts to those who need them. But all people on earth need this supply of strength from God, and therefore God also wants to convey it to all people, therefore He seeks to convey His word to them through a mediator. He instructs the beings of the spiritual kingdom to teach people who offer themselves to God as mediators, so that His divine word will be spread on earth through them. Thus strength and light will be supplied to all those who desire strength and light. These people then receive spiritual gifts from the spiritual kingdom, and the earth with its goods loses significance for them. They escape from the earthly kingdom as soon as they receive spiritual gifts, and thus they mature themselves and also help their fellow human beings to attain maturity of soul by imparting the spiritual knowledge to them if they desire it. And the spiritual kingdom spreads ever more throughout the world the more willing people are to listen to the spiritual teachings and to shape their lives accordingly. But to the same extent as they increase in spiritual wealth, they must also despise the world and its goods, for both together can never be given to people. They have to decide for the spiritual kingdom or the earthly world, and according to their decision they will also be considered. Amen.